talk about Mahomes, like Teja mentioned right there. So obviously we look at this and we see, with 300, looking at fantasy numbers, right? This is Mahomes is talking about fantasy wise. His second highest scoring output of the fantasy season was in this week, which a lot of us who had drafted Mahomes early, probably not in the fantasy playoffs at this point anymore. But he has the second highest output right in this game. And is it no coincidence that this is, we get Hollywood Brown back and he goes 446. Not eye-popping numbers by any means, but that's just another weapon within the system. And we're talking about Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which by and large, all throughout the season, has been pretty dang good besides the last few weeks. But this is probably one of the best defenses we've played all season. Yeah, they've been leaky the last few weeks. But nonetheless, this is a really good defense. And this is at Heinz Field or whatever they call it now. This is at Heinz Field. And we did what we did.
Yeah, some RCS. I was like, what field is this? RCS?
Yeah, it's always gonna be Heinz Field. Like Arrowhead's not GHA. It's always gonna be Arrowhead. But like, what is this? I mean, Hollywood is in there. Justin Watson's catching bombs. We're finally clicking on the deep bombs. We made this team look like mincemeat. We made this team look like a team that's not going to make the playoffs. But this is a good team and a good defense. What did you see from the offense? Why do you think today was just so different than what we've seen?
You know what? I think Nate Burleson said it best. And he was talking to Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is saying, like, look, once Hollywood Brown got back, everybody could get in the position they were supposed to play. And so it does open up the offense so much more when you have a guy like Hollywood Brown, where you don't have to put all the strain and everything on, like you said, Travis Kelce or D-Hop or Juju or Xavier Worthy, a young guy. Now you have Hollywood Brown, the way it was supposed to look when the season started. Everything that we thought it was going to be is starting to come to fruition. And so it was just the patience of it. They just built this into, when I said it was refining, we had to get to the offense, and the whole team was still refining it. They still tightened the screws to get to the place that they want to be. And so I think this is finally here. It has definitely exposed itself as being the offense that we thought it was going to be. So with this, a game like this, I said 25 plus carries. I'm not mad at it because we getting the ball out of hand because we're doing a lot of quick swing passes, things of that nature that it almost is like a run. And so we were able to absolutely attack his defense vertically, horizontally. I mean, just catching spaces wide open. I mean, Travis Kelce he's wide open. We're running a lot of pick routes. We're doing everything offensively, man. Like I said, the way that we thought it was going to look like, man. So, yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with Hollywood Brown for sure.
Second most passing yards Steelers have allowed all year. Highest QB rating they've had all year. Only the fifth game in the whole season they did not pick somebody off. It's a very good game to have a good game. It's a good team to have a good game against. Like it's an impressive one. You're not just beating up a limping antelope. And all this to be said, we haven't even touched on this yet. Short week of preparation. They didn't even have a full week to game plan for this. We didn't have like half a week to game plan for this. So think about that for a second. They're doing this with 30% of the time everyone else has. That's the impressive thing. I mean, we lost this game and we didn't look prepared. We have a built-in excuse. We played like we had a bye week last week. If you think about it, they played like they had a short week for the most part. It's funny. I predicted, I told a friend of mine what Mahomes' finishing stats, end of year stats would be when he was struggling pretty hard. And he's actually, gone over that. I think Mahomes has I think he's an 11-0 touchdown to TD rate or TD to interception ratio since the Bills game. He's killing it. And I look at the MVP odds and it's actually shocking to me how low he is. I mean, he's as of the 23rd, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. I mean, 15-1, clinching the AFC before the last week of the season, 7 game-winning drives without weapons, without most of his guys all season. It's pretty impressive. I know Josh Allen's doing what he's doing, but despite doing what he's doing, we still clinch the AFC with a week left in the season. So I think, and the way we've done it too, right? It's last minute, last drive games to do it. And I believe he's the best third down quarterback in the NFL too. So maybe not Josh Allen. You can make an argument for that, but sixth, really? Like that's pretty crazy.
So I'm going to touch on your point of like having the short week and what they're doing. I've always said this. It's always about us. It's never about them. I think a lot of it goes into the preparation of what coaches do, as far as like they understand. Like once you go through like the film, you pretty much know what you're going to get attack wise. I mean, Pittsburgh is not really going to change up, pretty much who they are. And Mike Brennan makes a great point. I think he said it in here. He said, no team has film on how Kelce will use Hollywood. Kelce seemed to be having taken advantage of that.
Yeah,
I do believe that. I do believe it. Now it does kind of blossoms into what you want the offense to be, right? It might be a little bit, hamstrung because you don't want to have all the pieces. You can't go deep like you wanted to. Justin Watson went deep on a couple of times, today. We threw him one deep the other day. We had holding our breath and he dropped it. The day, still throwing it to him. And so I think because you have the guys around you, Patrick just exudes confidence in his players. And he still's like, hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and give a shot to you. Let's take a shot. We're still going to do those things. I'm going to say this quickly because we were talking about this a little bit off camera. But we were talking about Pickens. And Pickens came over and said, oh, man, why don't you come get me? And I said, no, absolutely not. He can stay his butt up here in Pittsburgh. As talented as guy he is, okay, his emotional immaturity is hurting his talent and his growth. It's killing him. And it hurts a team like this, especially when he starts getting, animated, taking his helmet off, fussing and stuff like that, Mike Tomlin. You don't want a guy like that on your team. I'm sorry. I tell you what, Al Saunders used to say the same thing. And I'm going to tell you a guy I used to talk about, okay? He used to say it's about Randy Moss. He said, look, Randy Moss, very talented guy, could do everything, but he can't play with us. And so you're like, what? And so what he would do, it's not taking anything from Randy, right? Love Randy and his talent. But you would see him take plays off. And he would show him not blocking or taking off running on a certain play. Now, maybe at the time it was immature, and sometimes you get into that prima donna, but then all of a sudden, once you mature, he became that guy, okay? He became that guy. But you know what? Everybody keeps talking about Pickens being on the squad. Man, we didn't win 2 Super Bowls without that joke, and we don't need him. I'm sorry. We don't. We got enough talent. We got the guys we need in the room. And so I would love to have another Hollywood Brown, another, a D-Hop, and those guys all around. Again, you still got Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Come on, man. How you stopping this offense? How you going to do it?
A full offseason and a full year of having Hollywood, D-Hop, Rice, Worthy next year. If they can make that happen, I don't think D-Hop's going to break the bank. He's been to the other side. He knows being on poverty franchises like the Tennessee Titans. He knows how that works. I don't think he wants to do that anymore. So hopefully he can come back and even bring him back. He could be the Juju of what Juju is on this team right now. He could be the Juju of next year being on the team. And you have Worthy, you have Hollywood, and you have Rashee Rice. And we don't know what's going to happen with suspension, but that's a next year issue. But JD, thoughts on Teja's point? Mahomes MVP case? Does he have an MVP case?
I really could care less. To be honest with you, seriously, I really. I mean, he's already done won it 2 times.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like he needs to put this underneath his belt. I said to us, he's our MVP, and that's all we need. We just need to win this 3-peat. Super Bowls is what it is. He's already gotten those accolades. Let Josh Allen get it this year. Let Lamar get it. How many Super Bowls they got to show for it? Right?
Yeah.
Ho, 0. Ho, ho.
Super Bowl MVP. I'll take one of those. I'll take one of those bad boys.
Sure. For sure.
But yeah, now Mahomes looked fantastic.
It's also incredible too. If you look at Mahomes, everyone thought he was having so much worse of a year than last year, but his stats are almost right on pace with it. About 3,900 yards compared to 41 last year. 26 touchdowns, 27 last year. Less interceptions, 11 this year, 14 last year. And then he has 2 rushing touchdowns. So he has more total touchdowns this year than last year.
It's because he started off so poorly with the interceptions, which is why. And since Halloween, I think you mentioned it, 18-2 touchdown interception ratio.
Incredible. I mean, he's
Yeah, but what we've been seeing the last today's game, that's probably what we could have seen all year had we had Hollywood, and that's not even counting Rashee Rice being involved in the mix. Mahomes could have been. I know we say we don't care about the MVPs, but Mahomes probably would be the MVP bar none if all those guys played all year long and he had that full ensemble of guys. Could you imagine what he did today every week?
You know what though, man? I'm telling you, I'm enjoying this even more. It's more of a delectable, delicious entree right here that we have it. I love the way it looks now. As opposed, we've seen it, right? To the inception to where it is now. And I'm like, man, now there is no doubt. Now you see teams all of a sudden. Look, I hate, the media, the sports guys are coming up now and they're all jumping on Kansas City bandwagon. I'm like, no, to keep going against the Chiefs. You didn't want to believe in them. Gave you a little bit of some headlines and, a couple of little clicks here and there. But keep down the Chiefs. Keep doubting them. Now all of a sudden, I don't hear anybody talking about, who's going to be the Super Bowl champs and, this season. All that kind of, dwindled away a little bit, right? And so all they can talk about now is how good the Chiefs look, okay? And I said, man, we just became very, very dangerous. And everybody's getting a piece of that. They seeing it. So.
Yeah, it's like that John Morant clip from like 2 years ago when he's like, stay on that side. It's like, stay on that side. You were doubting us all year. We didn't have the offense to do it. Okay, stay on that side.
Do you think they're being a little vanilla with Hollywood so teams can't get a big glimpse before the end of the season? No? You just think there's not enough film as it is anyway with 3 games. Just let them go off.
Let him go off. Keep working your stuff. Like I said, man, it's about how we get into our rhythm, my tempo, getting him acclimated into our offense, how it looks with everybody else. I think you got to work on this stuff now, right? I mean, because you lost so much time with him that you have to open up your playbook and stuff to definitely exploit it. You have to. So, I would go into the game making sure that Hollywood Brown is running a lot of the, like I said, some of his routes that we wanted him to run, before the season started. Do you know what his snap count was, Marcus? Sometimes y'all bring in like how many. What was his?
They usually release it after the game, but I believe at halftime, Worthy was 24 of the 25 snaps we had. Hollywood Brown was second with to Justin Watson with 11 snaps at halftime.
Oh yeah, he's ready. That's we had to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it tells you how like the Chiefs are being so kind of what Teja mentioned about not having to play D-Hop as much as, he's an elder statesman, right? We don't need to play him right all the time. And with Hollywood coming back, you're playing D-Hop a little bit less, getting him ready to go for, the postseason run. So you got to like that.
Well, I'll give you one, Tej. Do you remember when we ran the Xavier Worthy? We were in the boot. Xavier Worthy came underneath to the line of scrimmage. And the very next play, they did the same thing with Hollywood Brown. Exact same play. And so to them, they're just like, look, we gotta make sure if each guy can do the exact same we're asking them to do.
Get him exposure to everything.
Absolutely. So I'm expecting, like we were throwing balls to Justin Watson, deep balls. We'll probably start seeing Hollywood Browns getting some of that in the playoffs. I'd expect, and maybe Xavier Worthy as well. So. Now when they talk about it's not an extra playbook, but now you got the pieces to run like the things that you want to run. Okay, you're not limited to it. So, and the reality is, Juju's not as fast as it used to be. D-Hop's not as fast as it used to be. But you got 2 speedsters now, guys who can stretch the defense, get open, put their foot in the ground. All he was looking for was Xavier Worthy to catch up to him playing to where he's playing now, his potential of it. So I love it. I love where they are.
And boy, he's something else. Our Wednesday, or not Wednesday, but Monday show this week, we talked about the 5 underdog picks that we liked. And Xavier Worthy over 43.5. I think that hit like first play of the first drive of the third quarter. He ended with 78 yards receiving. So like that was that hit easily. All of them actually, all the 5 that we chose, JD, all of them hit besides one. Bucker at 2 field goals. That was the only one that didn't hit. Fryermuth hit, Warren hit, Russell Wilson and Xavier Worthy all hit. Bucker 1 of 2.
Well, you asked me which one I liked the most, and I was like the Xavier Worthy one.
Worthy,
So, yeah.
And then also we struck again with allowing now 15 of the 16 tight ends to have more than 30 yards against us. That continues to be the safest pick of the year. Tight ends against us over 30 yards.
Well, how many wins did that translate to for them?
Yeah, just one or one, right?
Yeah, but the Bills didn't. They have a tight end that had over.
No, Knox had 30 because K didn't play that game. Knox had over 30 yards that game.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, okay. I didn't think Knox got 30 yards on that game.
I forget which game was where the only tight end that got the 30 yards against us. I didn't get 30 yards against us. I forget. Oh no, actually, I think it was. I think it might have been because the backup for the Browns got it against us too. Because what's his name was out that game. Njoku.
Was it Broncos?
Trotman got it. Trotman had one catch, like 34 yards in that game. Kyle Pitts had 2 catches that game, and he got over the 30 yards as well. Gosh, what was it? I'll do some digging as far as who it was, okay. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought Buffalo was the one that didn't get it, but okay.
Yeah, but Knox got it that game because when Kincaid was out. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.